Hello everyone, and welcome to my GH Soap Opera Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. GH spoilers. Drew's determined quest to expose Willow's twisted plan. General Hospital spoilers and updates hint that Drew Kane would struggle to communicate and understand. He needs to uncover Willow Kane's dark agenda. GH viewers are aware that Drew is in a bad predicament, as Willow is giving a medicine that makes him unable to move or talk. Drew's physicians diagnosed a stroke. No drugs were suspected while Drew's physicians assume he suffered a stroke. It's actually Willow who has engineered this nightmare with an injection, planning to keep him paralyzed with more dosages. Drew understands the truth and may begin to build a way to escape this dilemma. With lots of time to reflect, it may be exciting for viewers to ultimately hear his inner thoughts. In any event, Drew could swear to fight back and find a means to inform another character about his dire predicament. However, his options for raising the alarm are fairly restricted, as he doesn't have many people ready to see him. Kai might be Drew's greatest bet. Kai Taylor might be Drew's greatest alternative, since he intends to be at the home sometimes to keep an eye on Drew if feasible. Given that Kai is already cautious of Willow, it won't take much to persuade him that she is still planning against Drew, especially if he discovers her using a strange medication vial. Kai may interview Drew and gain some telling proof about Willow stirring further problems. However, there's a potential that Alexis Davis may arrive with a get-well-soon card from Scout Quartermain or something like. Alexis may also want to check in on Drew herself, as she is concerned about Willow's capacity to care for him. Drew could try blinking a SOS to Alexis. Could Drew attempt to send a blinking message in answer to Alexis' questions and suggest that Willow is the cause of his troubles? Alternatively, Drew could struggle to connect with someone like Lucas Jones during a house visit to check on his status. Regardless of the scenario, Drew might try to blink the necessary replies to the required questions and warn someone that Willow is giving him grief. However, this doesn't ensure that Drew's method will succeed, particularly since Willow will be apprehensive about leaving him alone with anybody else. But it's absolutely something he may do if given the opportunity. Naturally, if Willow becomes irresponsible and skips a dosage, he could attempt to slur some words to someone or perhaps gather the courage to drag himself out of bed. GH spoilers. Friday, February 13th. Maxie's future decided. Elizabeth urgent warning and Valentine drama erupts. On the next GH, Felicia and Spinelli must decide Maxie's destiny. Elizabeth begs Lucas to quit Windermere. Michael makes a hazardous Valentine appeal, and Lucy plays a perilous game. General Hospital spoilers and updates for Friday, February 13th. Tease Felicia Scorpio and Damian Spinelli have a significant decision to make. Plus, Elizabeth Baldwin delivers stern advice, and Michael Corinthos makes a Valentine appeal. Key takeaways: Felicia and Spinelli must determine if Maxie is ready to return home. Elizabeth wants Lucas to leave Windermere quickly following a frightening revelation. Michael makes a brave Valentine plea amid potential legal peril. Lucy flirts with danger as she seduces Sidwell to unearth his secrets. Britt provides a scary warning that implies calamity is approaching. Felicia and Spinelli's significant decision in Boston. At the specialist clinic a recently awakened Maxie Jones has been in for over a year. Felicia and Spinelli have a significant decision to make. They talk to the doctor who has been monitoring her treatment, and Felicia says, "She's no longer in danger, is she?" The decision will be whether to have the clinic keep Maxie a little longer to make sure there are no residual complications, or to bring her home to resume her life. Of course, there have been some startling happenings that Maxie will come home to, not the least of which is Nathan West having returned from the dead. That's going to be difficult for Maxie to digest, to say the least. Elizabeth's stringent advice at GH. Lucas Jones comes up to his dear friend Elizabeth about what he's seen and overheard at Windermere. Specifically that his partner isn't who he looked to be. Lucas heard Marco Rios discussing with his father, Jen Sidwell, about the hidden lab in the catacombs and Britt Westbourne being involved. Lucas was astonished by what he heard, and especially about Britt's medicine being used as coercion for her to finish a covert assignment. Elizabeth is outraged with the scenario, and gives a severe warning for her friend's own benefit. She instructs him to pack his luggage and get out of Windermere now. Michael's Valentine plea elsewhere. Michael is with Jacinda Bracken and she wonders, "When exactly were you planning to tell me about that?" It sounds like Michael wanted to surprise Jacinda with a Valentine's Day date, and possibly a very special one at that. With probable attempted murder accusations hanging over his head, Michael wants to get while the getting's good. But it sounds like Jacinda could have used a little more notice for Michael's Valentine plea. Will she be able to say yes to the dressed-up occasion? Or will she have to clear her calendar? Lucy flatters Jen's back at Windermere. Lucy co-flirts and flatters Jen's, which is something she's really good at, as he grins and says, "Couldn't stay away." He surely looks glad to see her, but can she keep her hidden scheme under wraps? Lucy's out for retribution, and to discover out what the mysterious cargo is that Jens is bringing into sunny Corinthos former docks. She aims to establish he's bringing in illicit chemicals in his shipments so that she can bring him to justice, although she'd just as soon take him out. Brit's warning presumably back at Windermere. Brit has a warning from Marco. She warns him. When it ends, it will not end well for you. Most likely she's talking about the secret project she's being blackmailed with her medicine to complete. Her father, Caesar Faison's last project. However, she may be referring about his connection with Lucas as well, because that sentence could surely apply to it, considering what Lucas overheard. Does Brit know something that Marco doesn't? Or is she discussing her secret collaboration with Jason Morgan as the means to the end of her predicament? Brooklyn doesn't hold back. In the meanwhile, Brooklyn Quartermain Chase doesn't hold back when she tears into Lulu Spencer. Does she know that Maxie woke up and soon would be returning home as she screams, "What is going on with you and Nathan West?" Most likely, both Lulu and Nathan are rationalizing that Maxie may choose to continue in her relationship with Spinelli and won't be angry with their dating. Lulu, too, was anxious over what Maxie might think. But then again, there could be some legal difficulties. Since Nathan didn't evidently truly die, does that imply he and Maxie are still legally married? General Hospital spoilers for Valentine's Day, Jason and Brit's dilemma, Elizabeth and Rick's date, and more. Love is on the air. Lulu and Nathan had promised not to give in to their feelings for one another, considering that before he died, he was married to Lulu's closest friend, Maxie, who has been suffering in a coma since last summer and doesn't even know that her spouse is back from the grave. But keeping each other at arm's length has proved to be easier said than done. Lulu and Nathan enjoy an intimate time and have a heart-to-heart about their emotions. However, events taking place far from Port Charles are going to have a tremendous influence on what is building between Lulu and Nathan, and you won't want to miss a second of the consequences as big news regarding Maxie's health begins to seep out. Things are going to get messy. What should have been a very romantic day for Lucas and Marco, their first Valentine's Day together as boyfriend and boyfriend, is looking like it might be more doom and gloom than sunshine and roses now that Lucas has eavesdropped on an incriminating conversation between Marco and his dad, Jen Sidwell. Now that he learns that Marco is very much hooked up in Sidwell's unpleasant business, Lucas finds himself at a crossroads. He will open up about his problem to trusted buddy Elizabeth, and when he and Marco come face to face, Lucas has a tough decision to make about how much to divulge to his live-in love about what he heard. Opposite this, Michael is in the mood for romance, and he wants to show his new girlfriend, Jacinda, a nice time by bringing her out on a date. Lately, though, she's been feeling uncomfortable about her place in Michael's life. Can he persuade her that he actually wants to go forward with their relationship? Expect Jacinda to liven things up by presenting a surprise of her own. It's been a long time since Liz has gone on a date, but she consented to go out with her ever-hopeful ex-husband, Rick. A date is due to take place on Monday, February 16th, and while what Rick has prepared for the two of them is not what Liz was anticipating, it doesn't mean she's not eager to let down her hair and have some fun. 2 decades after their love story began, might this be the start of a new era for Lyric fans? Another on-again combo that will take center stage next week is Brit and Jason. Though they just slept together again, circumstances are working to keep them apart. Particularly, she's been blackmailed by Cullum to keep her distance from the guy she loves, or else he'll get rid of Jason the old-fashioned way. But the heart wants what the heart wants, and on Valentine's Day of all days, Brit wants to be with Jason. She chooses to take a tremendous risk in the hopes of enjoying some quality alone time with her boyfriend. If she succeeds, will the repercussions be worth it? Sidwell duped. Nathan stuns Brit. Liz warns Lucas leave Windermere. Jen Sidwell will get deceived as Nathan West stuns Brit Westbourne. Elizabeth Baldwin will also tell Lucas Jones to leave Windermere. So here's what GH fans may expect. At the hospital, Lucas will tell Liz in on what he overheard. Marco Rios and Jen Sidwell are using Britt's medicine to keep her on a tight leash. So Lucas thinks there's some hidden endeavor happening. Lucas also eavesdropped on Marco's concerns regarding Carly Spencer, and may fear for her safety considering what Sidwell is capable of. Elizabeth may think the most immediate issue is the danger Lucas may be facing, so she'll push him to pack his belongings and go away ASAP. Meanwhile, Britt will have a heated conversation with Marco, and ostensibly warn him his romance is doomed. Since Lucas is already concerned over Marco's unscrupulous side, Britt may be correct. Lucas will have to meet Marco someday, so that'll provide a difficult option. GH teasers suggest Lucas will have to decide whether he'll come clean about what he overheard or keep his mouth shut. There's a chance Lucas may act stupid and even try to get Britt out of the hole she's trapped in. Since Pascal was watching close and knows about Lucas eavesdropping, it might make things sticky. As for Sidwell, he'll get deceived when Lucy Coe comes crawling back and thinks her ultimatum was a mistake. Lucy will act like she's willing to accept Sidwell being close with Ava Jerome as she doesn't want to lose him. Sidwell may buy what Lucy's selling, but she's actually got enormous plans to take him down. In the meantime, Brooklyn Quartermain will come up at Lulu Spencer's apartment and most likely see her looking far too comfortable with Nathan. While Brooklyn lashes out and presses Lulu for answers, Nathan will finally meet paths with Britt somewhere. Since Nathan's going to deliver Britt some surprising news, it might be about his romance with Lulu or perhaps Maxie Jones' coma waking if he hears about it by then. At Maxie's facility, she'll get checked up by Dr. Kumari now that she's no longer comatose. Felicia Scorpio and Damien Spinelli will hope this indicates Maxie's out of the danger zone when it comes to her recuperation. The announcement that Nathan's alive may have to wait if Spinelli and Felicia don't think Maxie is prepared to hearing it yet. Of course, it's also feasible James may blab about his dad and force a change of plans. Next, Jacinda Bracken will confront Michael Corinthos about the custody deal he negotiated with Willow Kane and ask why she had to get updates from Christina Corinthos Davis instead of him. Jacinda may feel Michael only compromised because he thought her escort reputation and criminal background would wreck things for him in court. Michael will convince Jacinda that his choice wasn't about her and will want to treat her to a fantastic Valentine's Day date. General Hospital spoilers claim Jacinda will have an unusual idea of her own, so stay tuned for any unexpected shocks ahead. Maxie returns to General Hospital. How Kirsten Storms made her dramatic comeback. The opera said hello again to one of its longest-running characters, Kirsten Storms, who had a long vacation from the show but has now returned as Maxie after being missing from the canvas since August 2025. Her character had been lying in a coma for months, but her family was in for a wonderful surprise when she awakened from her hospital sleep, looking incredibly spry, in that only in soaps sort of way that fans know so well. Here's how it all unfolded. Sleep no more after Maxie slipped into her coma. Her loved ones made the tough choice to have her relocated away from Port Charles to Boston to get long-term care. Characters like her doting mom, Felicia, her loyal stepdad, Mac, and her on-again love, Spinelli, have been making regular pilgrimages out of state to meet with her. But those bedside vigils have taken place off-camera. With Storms back at work following her sabbatical, GH could finally reveal the emotional interactions on film. By the opening of the episode, Felicia sat by Maxie's bedside with Maxie's elder kids, Georgie and James. Felicia remarked that Spinelli had gone off to a bakery to collect sweets, and James showed off the valentines that he and Maxie's smallest tot, Bailey Lou, had made for Maxie. Georgie remarked that Maxie couldn't see the cards, but James argued that she could. "I believe that your mom knows that we're here and that we love her," Felicia affirmed. James finished decorating the room for the occasion, while Georgie started manicuring her mom's nails. Felicia recommended that she and Georgie depart to give James some time alone at Maxie's bedside. After his grandma and sister stepped out, the youngster briefed his mother on his recent trip to the ER and declared her to be his Valentine. "I love you the best," he informed her. Out in the hallway, Georgie opened up to Felicia about how tough it was for her when James behaved like their mom was going to answer him. "All I want is for her to open her eyes," she moaned, sadly adding, "I just miss her so much." "So do I," acknowledged Felicia. Felicia assured Georgie that Maxie loved them and was trying as hard as she could to get back to them. Georgie nodded and cuddled up in her grandmother's loving hug. After assuring Maxie that he'd just begun playing hockey, James changed places with his elder sister. Weeping, Georgie flung herself on top of her mom, asking for her to wake up, while down the corridor, James mentioned to Felicia that his buddies at school wanted to meet his real dad, meaning Nathan, his biological father, who had been considered dead until the previous October. Not that Spinelli isn't my real dad, too, James continued. Felicia informed him she knew what he meant, and Georgie soon joined them out in the hall. Your turn, Grandma, she chirped. Felicia flashed a glare at her cheeky grandson, who assured he would stay still. Don't worry, I'll watch him, offered Georgie. The mother-lode Felicia re-entered Maxie's chamber and fought back tears as she clasped her daughter's hand in her own. Doing her best to keep strong, Felicia informed Maxie how well the kids were doing, adding that Bailey Lou stayed with Brooklyn and Chase while the rest of the family was in Boston. She spoke of all the images she'd taken of Georgie, James and Bailey Lou and said she couldn't wait to present them to Maxie when she woke up. I make sure they have fun and they have plenty of things to look forward to, Felicia noted, adding that even as she and Spinelli did their best to keep the kids on their regular schedule, there's still this giant hole in our family where you're supposed to be. She voiced how much they all loved her. As your mom, I have seen you do impossible things your entire life, she asserted. So I know you can do this too. She dropped a kiss on her daughter's forehead, oblivious of the impact of her words. When the action restarted, Felicia, James and Georgie put on their jackets as they prepared to walk back to the airport. James put in a request to go the ice rink first, while Georgie wanted to go to a new bookshop. Felicia offered to that they go to the bookstore this time around, but visit the rink the following time they were in Boston. James sulked and pleaded with Georgie. Please let me skate. James Malcolm West, said a harsh and recognizable voice. You are not going skating without a helmet. Huge smiles formed across Georgie and James's faces as they took in the scene before them, and Felicia snapped her head around at the sound of her daughter's voice. Maxie stood at the doorway, very much awake. Back in Port Charles, Nathan, the guy who had been Maxie's spouse until his supposed death in 2018, was with Lulu, Maxie's best friend. The duo had been becoming considerably closer in recent months, and at the end of last month, they exchanged a kiss. After their smooch, they decided that they couldn't pursue their love for each other, but those sentiments were rather tough to resist. Unaware of the miracle taking place in Boston, their lips touched again. GH spoilers. Portia tampers with paternity test results. Curtis Ashford has been hounding Portia Robinson for weeks on General Hospital to take a paternity test. The pregnant doctor has argued that it's an unnecessary danger for the baby, but time is running out, and her possible baby daddy wants to know if he's going to be a father. Will Portia genuinely tamper with her own paternity test results? GH spoilers. The big day is finally here. General Hospital watchers have been waiting as long as Curtis to find out who the father of Portia Robinson's baby would be. Isaiah Gannon looks to be winning the baby daddy race this week. At work, Portia discussed with Liz Spencer about her pregnancy predicament and divulged to her coworker that Isaiah was much more calm about the situation and wasn't pressing her about the baby. Portia enthused about how fantastic he was, and it's quite apparent who she wants the father to be. GH spoilers. Portia does the unthinkable. According to GH spoilers, Portia Robinson will make a huge surprise at the conclusion of this week and will reveal that she performed a paternity test and has the findings. Previews show Portia standing in a lab coat with an envelope with her future baby daddies Isaiah and Curtis, waiting expectantly. Everyone knows that the first paternity test done on a soap opera never turns out accurate. On average, it normally takes 2 or 3 tests on daytime TV before the truth comes out. The fact that the baby mama is managing her own test findings is not a positive omen. General Hospital whispers imply Portia Robinson could have panicked under Curtis' pressure and performed the unthinkable. Curtis Ashford has been threatening to take Portia to court for weeks now to acquire the paternity test results. Did the doctor opt to take a phony test to gain? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel without missing any update.